Network components. Now this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. We're going to talk about the different types of network components. But before we do this, I want to take a step back and really take a look at network traffic and how it moves from point A to point B. Now here I created a little representation of a network, a very simple network. We have our devices. Here are end devices, laptops, smart home appliance, PC, smartphone, tablet, and then we have our intermediary devices, which is in the middle, which is router, access point, switch, and usually at home you have a home router which includes all three: a router that routes your traffic, a switch that switches your traffic within the local network, and we're going to talk about this in detail, and then you have your access point which emit a wireless signal to your home. These are all in one device at home, but in a professional setting it would be separate devices. And of course you have your internet, which is the destination, maybe a server. Let us now follow the traffic. Let's say you have your PC, and on that PC you open a service such as an email or a web page. Let's say you're opening google.com. So you open your browser, you type google.com, you hit enter, and that initiates traffic from your PC. Your PC is connected to a cable or a wireless signal, so it will send it out of the device via the media, which in this case is a cable. The traffic then will travel through the media into the switch, which is an intermediary device. It will take a look at the traffic. Is this traffic going inside the network? If it's going inside the network, then the switch will forward it to the specific device within the network. If it's not going inside the network, then it will forward it to the router, which then will see the address that is written or that is added in the packet header. But of course I'm gonna explain this in details. I want to touch on the overview of the traffic and how it moves from point A to point B. I'm gonna explain in details what is an IP address, a MAC address, and all that good stuff. But for now, it has an address that it will be delivered to. So the router will take a look at this, and then sends it out to the next router outside the network, and so on and so forth until it reaches its destination, which is another end device in the end, a PC, a server, whatever end device in the end. So we can think of it as a regular mail or post, the old-fashioned way of sending letters. You write your letter, which is your service. You put it in an envelope, you write your addressing, receiver, sender, all that good stuff. You take a specific route, which is your media. You go to the post office, which is your intermediary devices, such as your router or switch. And then your post office, it picks a route, which is also another media, and then it sends it out. So it will reach the receiver, which is an end device. So let's talk about the official naming or components. Network components has three distinctive parts: devices, media or medium, and services. Your devices have two separate categories: end device and intermediary device. An end device, as I mentioned, is the device that initiates the signal or receives the signal in the end. So there's nothing after that device. An end device is like your computer, laptop, your smartphone, smart tablet, printer, IP phone, IPTV, and the examples are endless. And then you have your intermediary device. You have your router that routes your traffic. You have your LAN switch that switches your traffic within your local network. And you have your access point, which emits a wireless signal. You have your firewall appliance, which is for security. And we're going to talk about the different types of component later on. And then, of course, you have your media or medium. And you can think of this as the road which your traffic travels through or on. So your media has three distinctive types. You have your copper cables, you have your fiber optics cable, which is a lot faster than the copper cable, and it's used in much harsher situations. And we're going to talk about media in details in the next slide. because I want to elaborate more on this. And then you have your wireless, which is a wireless signal. We're all familiar with the wireless or Wi-Fi. And finally, we have our services, such as an email, your web service, view on web pages. Of course, there's so many services. So these are the building blocks that makes a network. You have your devices, media, services. So it starts with your end device using a specific service, such as email, and it initiates traffic. It goes through the media, which is either a copper cable, fiber optics, or wireless signal. Then it travels to your intermediary device, which is either a router, LAN switch, wireless router, multi-layer switch. There are so many, and we're gonna cover them in a later lecture. And then it reaches an end device, which is the receiver. So I want to expand a little about media and talk about why would you choose one type over the other. As we mentioned, there's 3 types of media. You got your copper cable, which is a metallic wire that runs through the cable, and the data is converted into electrical impulses and transmitted through the cable. Then you got your fiber optics, and within this you got glass fiber optics and plastic fiber optics, and in this case the data is converted into pulses of light and transmitted through the cable. Finally, you got your wireless connection, which we're all familiar with, and in this case the data is converted into wavelength and transmitted through a wireless connection. So why would you choose one over the other? There are 4 factors we must think about. You got your distance, how much geographical area will my network cover? You got your cost, what is my budget? You got your broadband requirement, how much traffic will be transmitted through my media? And finally, what is the environment that my media will be going through? I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.